One warm October night, steering between drug dealers and copulating couples, I saw two foxes on the grass by the bandstand. They swung their heads smoothly over the ground like placid hoovers, each swing marking a silver furrow in the dew. I crept closer. They took no notice. I crept very close. They raised their heads, saw that I wasn't a dog or a car, and went back to their swinging. They were harvesting crane flies. The ground was thick with them. The crane flies were laying eggs. That takes time, and anyway, the damp stuck their wings to the grass like stamps in an album. The foxes just had to peel them off with their tongues and suck them up. I got down on my knees beside the foxes and grazed. There seemed nothing barbarous about crushing bodies that were so slight and so dry. A victim needs to have viscera to evoke visceral disgust. The crane flies were pinioned by the surface tension and didn't move much. Think of a ticklish rice paper garnish that turns to vanilla slime. Half an hour later, the foxes were still there, systematically working their patch under the sodium lighting, as I got stiffly up and walked home in a ruined suit. It wasn't the first time I had tried to be a fox. When I was 9, my father arrived home excited. "Look what's in the back of the car, but be very careful." There, in black plastic bin liners, were two recently dead foxes, a dog and a vixen. She had obviously been suckling cubs. Their lips were pulled back in a snarl. They looked angry to be dead. "Don't touch their teeth," said my father. "They've been killed with strychnine." That's not a nice way to die. A farmer had once delightedly told me what it did to moles, and I could understand the bitterness of that fixed smile. Very soon after taking the poison, probably planted on a dead lamb, they'd have felt tremors and rising nausea. The tremors would have towered up and powered up, turning into convulsions. In a dark field in Derbyshire, they'd have repeatedly arched and extended their backs almost until they snapped, and then, when their diaphragms finally gave up, they'd have turned blue and died in an asphyxial froth of blood and foam. They were terribly lovely. From then on, I signed off all my letters with the head of a fox. We went out to try to find the cubs. We lay for 3 nights under a tarpaulin, downwind of a hole in a hill. I bought a chicken with my birthday money, disemboweled and dismembered it, and spread it tantalizingly around near the entrance to the hole. This was a time when I thought I could will anything. I willed the cubs to come out. I asked, not knowing who or what I was asking, to be possessed by those adult foxes so that I could know where the cubs were or persuade them that it was safe to emerge. We shivered and we willed. They never came. It was my first real disillusionment. If I'd been in Japan, the fox spirits would have jumped at my invitation. There, they don't need to be asked in at all, let alone asked twice. Plenty of people in Japan are married, often unknowingly, and often satisfactorily, to eyelash-batting, stiletto-wearing fox spirits. It's not always good, though, and fox exorcism is big business. In everyday life, you've got to be careful that you're not being beguiled by a fox. The danger's greatest over the phone when you can't see the person you're talking to. Presumably Skype is making it tougher for spirit foxes, and telephonic conventions have developed to avert it. There are some human sounds that foxes can't pronounce, such as moshi moshi. They're part of the standard greeting. If your opposite number doesn't use it, hang up. But these Derbyshire foxes evidently took their metaphysics, like their rabbits, from the land, and the high peak is...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.